Hey everybody, good to see you again. So let us talk some synastry today, and specifically about Moon-Jupiter aspects. The conjunction is what I'd like to focus on today. I don't think I have an extensive playlist on my public channel for Moon-Jupiter aspects. I do believe I have the opposition, so it'll be fun to fill this one in. So Moon and Jupiter are actually quite different. They are in conjunct signs. So they have a very different aim. Jupiter is about growth, expansiveness, adventure, getting out of what is the immediacy of the norm and the constraints of the everyday, and indulging that part of ourself that wants to grow through the experience of more, or stretching beyond what is just average. The moon is very different. The moon is that part of us that seeks safety and stability through normalcy. Now, your definition of normalcy could be very different than somebody else's definition of normalcy. And let's keep in mind that what is normal and habitual doesn't always mean healthy. It may just mean it's well known. And that provides its own type of security. You have to look at your aspects to the moon and see which or how your inner self achieves that balance or that equilibrium. What is your definition of that? But in general, or how do you go about it? But in general, the moon wants regularity, even if that regularity is toxic or repetitively difficult. It wants what it's always known, because it is that experience of the unknown or mystery that can be more destabilizing than the experience of commonly difficult circumstances. So even though they are very in conjunct energies to each other, in conjunct archetypes, meaning they're 150 degrees away from each other in sign, they don't have anything in common. There's no modality or element or way or motivation that links them. They're very much like strangers to each other. Even though that's the case, in synastry, these aspects can work very, very well. They're different, but it's very interesting, and the type of difference makes it okay in the interaction in this case with these particular planets. Most planets that are in conjunct to each other will have a fundamental issue when it comes to balancing, whether in the natal or in synastry. And Jupiter aspects are just kind of uniquely weird in that they are strange bedfellows, but when you put them together, it can work. Not every configuration between Moon and Jupiter can work, particularly the in conjunction can be, more destabilizing. But Moon Jupiter is an interesting combination in general, just because of how their different natures can support each other. Jupiter can be that part of us that is about openness, forgiveness, acceptance. That is not going to hurt the moon person's feelings, that invitation to open up, to share, to be a part of something. So it's strange but interesting combo. So when we're looking at the conjunction, 5 minutes into things, this is a very good interplay between these two factors in two people's personality. The moon person feels that they are allowed to have their feelings. They're invited to have their feelings. They are not disturbed by the Jupiter person. They are not overly encouraged. They're not discouraged. There isn't an active reactive input that the Jupiter's person is putting into things. They don't want to get anything from the moon person. They're not looking for reactions. They're not looking for confirmation. They're not looking for the super ego to be stroked and affirmed. You can get that with some Jupiter contacts. Jupiter is the super ego. And in some links in Synastry and in natal charts, what we're looking to get is affirmation or confirmation of our ultimate rightness or our betterness or our superior morality or way of looking at the world. Our paradigm or ideology can be what is being fed or driving things, depending on what the interaction is. We don't have to worry about that in this case. The Jupiter person isn't trying to take advantage. Jupiter can do that. Jupiter can look at things like a game because it's a fire planet. And if we don't control those fire planets, we will find that we will want to get away with whatever we can get away with. And that does not inspire trust in ourselves or in others, having trust in us. The moon person does not feel destabilized by the Jupiter person because there is no feeling of the Jupiter person trying to move them or stimulate them or influence them or get them to come to any kind of end. That is very comforting to the moon person because we don't feel like we have to have a boundary. We don't feel like we have to watch ourselves in some way because there is this flow, there's this appreciation, there's this proof of consistent safety and behavior and input from the Jupiter person that never gives us a sense that we need to watch them or keep them out or position ourselves, because there's never a feeling of predation or of being taken advantage of. But we can have other things going on. Keep in mind that we can have much more complexities with the moon person. I'm talking about one thing here, so don't complain in the comments that you are paranoid and they are doing things to you, because maybe you have other things going on, and you probably do. But this can be one thing, one piece of the puzzle of your larger complex interaction. Yes, there can be relationships, so we can have myriad emotional complexities. And in some ways, we vibe really well together. Things are working together. And that can be more situational or show up in certain conditions. So this is one part of things, and it's a good part of things. So there's this appreciation for the Jupiter person that allows the moon person to have the trust that they can share, they can be vulnerable, they can be known, because we don't have to watch out. The Jupiter person isn't going to do anything negative with the information that they receive. It feels like friends. It doesn't feel like romantic competitors. It's not an interaction that is going to contribute in itself to a romantic relationship. This is a wonderful thing that could be going on in any number of relationships, and it is going to help to bring safety and appreciation and wanting to stop and smell the roses together, to linger together. That's the big thing that the moon gets out of this. The moon person feels that they want to linger in the safety, the resonance that they feel with the Jupiter person. We resonate. So it's like that same string that's plucked, or two strings that's plucked on a guitar, and they sound good together. And so we want to string out that vibe that we're playing on that string. It encourages time spent. The Jupiter person interprets this interaction extremely positively as well. Whatever typical barriers to being known, or pride, our rightness, our superiority, the superego, that is lowered. The reactivity of that, the obnoxiousness of the superego is lowered, because there isn't this feeling of getting anything out of this, or wanting to get anything out of this. The payoff for the superego really comes in the authenticity of the expression. We don't have to come at things pumped up. We don't have to get any kind of pride or ego payback. There isn't any of that armor that is typically a barrier to a flowing, appreciative, excuse me, mutually cooperative interaction. So the Jupiter person's lack of sorry, lack of trying to get a payoff, it creates a synergistic effect between the two. For the moon person, the more that they really innocently interact with the Jupiter person, the more that the Jupiter person appreciates that and lowers their guard even more. Because they come into it with the guard lowered. They don't understand that they get this going. It's always the outer planet person that more unconsciously gets the ball rolling in synastric interactions, even though it's the inner planet person that consciously thinks that they're the one that is getting the ball rolling. It's actually the outer planet person. And it's that Jupiter person's just warm, appreciative invitation for the moon person to get to be themselves and to, you know, be as emotionally open and messy and honest as they want. It feeds the Jupiter person's invitation for the moon person to do more of that. And then we're doing it together. And it's just so encouraging. Because both of us over the course of time feel safer. There's more friendship. There's more forgiveness that can come in over the course of time, which is very important in a long-term relationship, where we can always run into that possibility of having resentments building up over the course of time. Sorry, I'm crying a little bit because I have a frog in my throat, and every time that happens to me, I always have to make some kind of weird tears that go with it. It's funny how the throat, the nose, and the eyes are so linked together as a system. That's another lesson. So the playfulness the forgiveness, the time spent, all goes to us appreciating each other more over the course of time with this particular conjunction. And it does have us wanting to be together, to experience different facets of each other, because that can be exciting. That is where the Jupiter person finds that need for exploration, growth, very much satisfied by the Moon person. The Moon person can be this map of new vistas that, through openness and appreciation and genuine interest and curiosity, the Jupiter person can, well, they can want to read the novel of the Moon forever and ever and over. And they always find something new, some new chapter, some new facet to explore, be fascinated with, and appreciate. So this is a good one if you can get it. If you guys are interested in my new Synastry and Composite book that will be out shortly, it is going to be extremely comprehensive, probably the most comprehensive Synastry and Composite book that is available. So I am working on that. It's not too far away. Keep it in mind in case this is something that you have more interest in. And if you are interested in making an appointment, I do have my schedule open right now. I am taking Synastry Composite, transits, natal chart analysis right now. So get in while you can. truthandaspectastrology.com. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. And I'll see you guys super soon in the next super cool video. Bye.